Hi everyone, it's Maggie, and I'm here with a few project shares. I embellished some journal covers, and I thought I would come on and show you what I did. So I'll go according to how I started them. This was the first one, and there's the image, and the image is from Patty Lang, Sacred Mementos, and her prints are just beautiful. And this was like one of my favorite from that particular kit. So it started off with a journal cover, and this I think all three are journal covers that Patty made for me, and I embellished them. So the first thing I did was I added this background material. You can't really read too much of it, but some words you can. I don't think you're meant to read, be able to read it all, but some words you can pick out. Like this says education. So, anyways, I added that to the front of the cover. And um, the next thing I did was I went along the two sides with this trim here, and this is all Crafty Me Shop. And there'll be links in the description box for Patty's channel and Crafty Me Shop on Facebook group. It's the only way you can purchase any of the trims, laces, appliques that she has. So, anyways, I added this pink trim to the sides, and it's kind of overcast, so I don't know if the colors are going to come through. I know the darker one is coming through, but I'm not sure about the lighter colors. But anyway, this is the image I chose, and I worked around that. So the next thing I did was I added a couple of layers of wide trims, and you can't see much of them, but they're there, and I think they add to it. And then the next thing I did was I went along the top and the bottom with this Crafty Me Shop lace. And then I just started embellishing. So after I put down these two wide trims, I had printed the images on cotton printer paper. It's not paper, it's cotton fabric. And I put some batting behind it, and then I added it to the top here. And then I went around it with this, it's a French trim, I believe, anyways. I'm pretty sure it's French. And then the other thing I did was I had this tiny ruffled lace from the shop, and I decided to make it look like it was on the top of her dress. So there's just for a little added embellishing. Underneath the French trim, I forgot this trim here I added first, and then I finished it off with this trim. Okay, and then I started with the appliques. So this little applique here, I don't know if you can tell, but this is very light green, and I liked that for the corner. And then over here, I cut apart an applique so that I could form it how I wanted to. So this is the flower from the applique, and then there's some pieces of leaves. There's these little flowers here with the leaves, and I just cut them, like I said, to fit. And then what else? These pieces here are also from that one applique that I cut separately off the applique and just added them here and here. And then I took these buttons, well, they're not buttons, they're flat back, sorry. The flat back one in the middle of this flower, and then these went in, I just added randomly to a couple of these smaller flowers. And then underneath it, this was a collar. I think it was a collar, and I just cut to fit down the bottom. And I thought that just finished it off really nice. So that's this one, and I left the inside. I think I left all the insides blank because not everybody wants pockets, and whoever gets it will be able to put their signature or signatures in and do what they want. So that's the first one. Excuse me. And then this is the second one. And everything is Crafty Me Shop except for this trim here. Someone had sent it to me, and I can't remember who, so I'm really sorry if you're watching. But I just thought it went perfectly with the colors of this image. And all the images on all three are from Sacred Mementos. So again, I covered the background with this fabric here, which, like, again, you can't really see that much of. And then I took this wide lace under here, and it goes right across. And then, because the only other thing I did on the back is I added this large applique here. I just thought it gave it a little interest. But again, on the sides, I added this flower trim on both sides. And then top and bottom, I added this Crafty Me Shop lace. And this is beige. Again, not sure about how the colors are going to show up until I look at the video. So anyway, then I just went back to the front of the cover. So I added a really large lace here, and then I added this middle lace, which is wide, but not quite as wide as this one here, to go down the middle. And then I took a large applique. Actually, I took two appliques. This beige applique here, I cut into pieces. Again, I always do that to fit what I'm making. I want it to fit to go around the image. And I added these little tiny pearls to the little flowers. And then I cut these from another applique, and they're, I don't know if you can tell, but they're pink, little pink buds. And I just added those to the middle of these flower appliques in the background, and this one up here. And there's another pearl. So that's what I did for this one. And then again, I think all the material on the inside is this polka dot material here, which I love. So that's the second one, and there's the image, another beautiful image. And then the last one, which I think is my favorite, and I had the most fun doing, is this one here. Let me bring it up. Love this print. Oh my gosh, she's just so beautiful. Okay, and yeah, again, here's the inside. Okay, so the first thing I did, the outside I covered with this really light green toile. And then the first thing I did was I added this wide lace that's underneath here. And again, I don't mind that you can't hardly see anything. I like layering, and that's basically what it was for. Okay, and then the next thing I did was this here is, well, there's 2 layers of it, but it's a really wide lace. I wish I had thought to bring everything over to show you, but unfortunately I didn't think to do that. Hopefully I will next time. But I put these layers down on top. And then the next thing I did was I took this white layer here of this lace, and I love this. It's so soft. It's just beautiful. And then I added the image next, which is, they're all on cotton, and there's batting underneath. And then after I added the image, I added, this is an actual vintage lace by the yard, or trim by the yard. So I cut to fit, and then I added this over the top of the image. And then the next thing I did was to go around all 4 sides with this CMS trim there, CMS Crafty Me Shop. Okay, and then I went to town. Excuse me. I had so much fun doing this. I hope I can explain it. All right. So I had 2 small to mid-size flower appliques. One is pink with green leaves, and the other one, which was a little different. It wasn't the same applique. It was different, but it was only pink in the beige. So the first thing I did was I put down and I cut the bottoms off, because at the bottom were these large flowers that I wasn't going to be able to use on this. I tried and it just didn't look right. So I added those first, and I started off only putting a little bit of glue in the middle to keep them in place, because I knew I wanted to put things behind and in front of. So the next thing I did, and that's trying to remember exactly what I did when I did it. I think the next thing I did was I started, before gluing, I laid all this down to how I wanted it, and then I glued it all down. So these pieces here and here, and then these pieces here, which I'm not sure what they are, but I thought they just kind of added interest, like whimsical, I don't know, maybe like leaves or something that went with these and these to me are like ferns. That I can show you because I didn't take it off the table. So this is the trim here, and I just cut them individually from the trim, and I added them behind. I think they're all behind. Yeah, I added those behind the appliques here. And you can see that some of them are sticking out. I glued the bottom down, but I didn't glue it all the way down because I wanted them to be kind of 3-dimensional in places. And then this here piece, and then this piece, to me, like, it's all whimsical. And then this piece over here is from this trim, and you've seen me use it before. And what I usually do is, if I want it to look like a garden, I usually put it down the bottom like this. But this time I wanted to use it in a different way, so I cut off the larger pieces. Like, here's one of the pieces right here. And then this piece is over here. Oh, you can barely see it, but it's right there. And then this piece here, actually the longer piece, is right here. So I put those down, and then here's a piece here. Where's that one? Here's that one here, like that. And then the last thing I did was those larger, and I don't have any more to show you. There were just two of them, like I said, on the bottom of each applique, and I had cut them off. But I wanted to hide where the cutoff was on these appliques. And I did want to make it look three-dimensional, which I think it does. It might not on camera, but if you're, right here looking at it, it does look three-dimensional. And there's layers, which, like I said, I like doing. So I took those two flowers and I cut off pieces of them here and here, and I added it just to look like, at the bottom of a garden, it's just growing. And then here's another one here, and then these two here are from this applique here. And I think this piece here, and then these are from the bottom of this applique. So that's basically that's what I did. And like I said, I really had a lot of fun with this one. So that's it. Those are my three journal covers. And, they're shabby chic, they're vintage. I don't think, because of the prints, I don't think they're Victorian, but they're definitely, I mean, there's a chance it's the fact that the images look like they're from another country, like this one could be Spain or even this one. But anyway, I did try to make them shabby chic, these two. This one is more, to me, whimsical than it would be. It wouldn't be, I don't think I would call it shabby chic. But anyways, they're not going to, I can't think of the word, be everyone's cup of tea, obviously. But for those that, like these kind of journal covers, you can make the journal, the inside, whatever type of journal you want. I don't think it would matter. I mean, grunge may not, a grungy journal may not work well, but any other kind of a journal, I think, would work pretty well with these images. So, okay, that's enough talking. Can you tell I haven't made a video in a while? I looked back and I think it's been like a month, and I can't believe it's been that long. It doesn't feel like it, but it has been. So I am going to really try to do more videos, because I don't like to go a whole month without a video. It's just I haven't done a real lot of crafting in the month, just here and there. I'm doing more physical therapy on my arm and my hand, and I'm wearing this contraption. It's called a splint, Dynasplint, I think is the name of it, and it's very painful, and I have to wear it for an hour at a time. And so usually after I'm done, it's just too painful to try to craft. But I do try to do a little bit here and there. I just can't do it for hours like I used to be able to. So anyway, if you like them, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'll try to be back again really soon with another video. So I'm just going to say bye for now.